Toy Story 5 is set to be released this year, and the hype is already through the roof. But did you know that there are several questions this movie still needs to answer? Woody has always been the main character of this franchise, but even so, all of us were confused when we found out that he will appear in the new movie. After all, Toy Story 4 ended with the cowboy leaving with Bo Peep to become a toy without an owner, clearly suggesting that this would be the end of his story. All of Disney's marketing for Toy Story 5 places Woody alongside the other toys that used to belong to Andy and now belong to Bonnie, without even explaining how the cowboy returned. In the movie's teaser, which shows Bonnie receiving a tablet, Woody simply appears next to Buzz Lightyear, in a way that almost makes it seem like he is still Bonnie's toy and never left at all. However, it's worth remembering that many Pixar teasers don't show actual scenes from the movies, serving more as demonstrations of the animation quality, especially since the visual quality of this film looks excellent and far more realistic compared to previous entries in the franchise. Because of that, it's likely that Woody won't be with the other toys from the very beginning and will only appear later in the movie, but we'll only know for sure once it's released. Until then, all we can do is talk about the 9 questions that need to be answered in Toy Story 5. Are you ready? Because another amazing Cinewave is starting now. Reboot. Most of the questions we have about the movie are coming from Pixar's own marketing, which seems to be doing everything it can to keep us curious. Tim Allen, the actor who voices Buzz Lightyear, revealed something about the new film during a TV appearance, and what he said left fans more confused than ever. According to Tim Allen, Toy Story 5 is a total reboot. A reboot is when a story is restarted from the beginning and told in a different way. This statement could change everything. If Toy Story 5 really is a total reboot, that would mean the previous 4 movies would be completely ignored, as if they never happened. That would explain Woody's presence in all promotional materials, since the events of Toy Story 4 wouldn't have taken place in this universe, meaning this version of the character never left. However, Pixar hasn't explained this very clearly, and the marketing has already shown that the film will include elements introduced in Toy Story 4, such as the character Forky, not to mention that the owner of the toys will still be Bonnie instead of Andy. If the movie were truly restarting the story, Pixar could easily have made Andy a child again. Because of this, some people believe that Toy Story 5 won't be a true reboot where the story is completely reset, but rather an entry point for new fans. The events of the previous films will still have happened, but kids will be able to start following the franchise from the 5th movie onward. Lightyear Army. One thing we are all looking forward to seeing is the army of Buzz Lightyears that will appear in Toy Story 5. According to Buzz's actor, the scene where they appear will be hilarious and will bring back some of the humor from Buzz Lightyear in the first movie, when he didn't know he was a toy and acted like a real space explorer. That said, we don't know much more about this Lightyear army. We don't even know what role these toys will play in the movie. Will they be allies or enemies? Or will they be something in between? Maybe starting out as enemies and later becoming allies who help Woody's group defeat Lilypad, the film's villain. Their role could change a lot about what happens in the story, but one thing is certain: it's going to be very funny to see them on screen. One of the moments where they will be in the spotlight will show a plane crash that causes them to end up on an island, as a reference to the movie Castaway. We all know how Disney animated films love to reference classic movies that many kids today don't even know. Speaking of that, do you also like Buzz Lightyear? If so, leave a comment below with #Buzz. Jessie as the protagonist. Another thing we already know, and that we all want to understand how it's going to work, is that the main character this time will not be Woody or Buzz Lightyear, but Jessie instead. What we don't know, however, is why she will be the protagonist. So far, none of the revealed parts of the story have a direct connection to Jessie. Lilypad has no connection to Jessie. It seems that the tablet will steal all of Bonnie's attention, leaving the toys feeling lonely. But it's not like Jessie is the little girl's favorite toy. That role belongs to Forky. He even appeared in the teaser, but the production's marketing isn't giving him any real spotlight. So what will make Jessie take on the role of the main character? Well, Buzz Lightyear's actor also gave us a few hints, saying that Jessie will be in trouble and will need help. However, the characters will be scattered across different places for some reason, which will force her to go after them. But honestly, that raises more questions than answers. Why will Jessie be in trouble? Why will the others be scattered? Yeah! Lilypad. All signs point to a children's tablet called LilyPad being the main villain of Toy Story 5. It has already been confirmed that the movie will focus on the conflict between toys and technology, which is why the teaser was entirely centered on Bonnie receiving the LilyPad as a gift, and all the other toys becoming scared when they see it. Something that makes sense since many kids nowadays don't really play with toys and instead spend all their time playing games on screens. But what really caught people's attention was a poster where we see Woody, Buzz, and Jessie staring at the LilyPad, which is recording them. You can tell this because their reflections are being transmitted on the device's screen, and on top of that, there's a small green light turned on. This kind of light only stays on in devices like tablets and smartphones when something is being recorded. Yes, LilyPad apparently will record the toys moving on their own, which could mean that the end of the toy's biggest secret is getting closer. But why does she want to do that? Is this some kind of blackmail, or is she simply evil? Theoretically, exposing the toys to Bonnie or to humans in general could also be a problem for LilyPad, since that could lead someone to discover that she is alive as well. Bonnie. Speaking of that, will Bonnie actually end up discovering that her toys are alive? The poster that showed LilyPad recording Woody's group stopped there. We didn't see Bonnie watching the video recorded by the tablet or anything like that, but there's a good chance this could happen in the new movie. That would be a very bold decision and would change everything, since the Toy Story movies have always focused on the toys keeping this secret from humans. Andy never discovered the truth about Woody and all the others, so if Bonnie were to find out, her dynamic with the other characters would completely change, bringing a fresh new direction to this movie and to future ones. We don't think she would tell her parents or the kids at daycare. It would be a secret just between her and her toys. Woody and the others would feel relieved when they realize that it's not actually so bad for a human to know their secret. Honestly, it would even be nice to see Bonnie talking to her toys and helping them solve certain problems. Subscribing to the channel is just as good as watching your favorite animations. Shall we click? Andy. Andy's farewell in Toy Story 3 was absolutely heartbreaking. But ever since Toy Story 5 was announced, many people have started wondering whether Woody's former owner and the owner of the rest of the toys will return, which would certainly make a lot of adults cry while watching the movie with their kids. That wouldn't be emotional only for us, the viewers, but also for Woody and his friends. They believe they will never see Andy again, so seeing him once more would be like reuniting with a childhood friend with whom you shared the best moments of your life. We'll only find out if this is really going to happen when we watch the movie, unless one of the upcoming trailers shows Andy appearing. That would greatly increase the hype for Toy Story 5, but it's also possible that this is being kept out of the marketing so that audiences can watch the film without having any idea that Andy will return. Could Disney be planning to surprise us? LilyPad's redemption. Based on what little we know about LilyPad, she definitely looks like she's going to be a very manipulative and deceitful villain, presenting herself kindly to Bonnie, stealing all of the girls' attention, recording the toys while they move. Everything we know she will do gives the impression that we're about to witness the rise of one of Pixar's most evil villains. However, some things that have been said about the movie's story raise an important question. Will LilyPad redeem herself at the end, or will she remain a villain until the very end? The reason for this doubt is that Andrew Stanton, the director of Toy Story 5, has talked about the central theme of his project, which is the fact that no one really cares about toys anymore because of technological evolution. However, he also says something else that's very interesting. We can't demonize technology. That's true, since technology can be very useful, and even tablets can be used in a positive way, such as helping children study in a fun and engaging manner, as long as parents supervise what their kids are consuming while using electronic devices and don't allow them to spend all their time in front of screens. But considering that the director holds this view and that LilyPad represents new technologies in Toy Story 5, does that mean the toys will eventually make peace with her and that Bonnie will learn to divide her attention between both her toys and LilyPad? Or will LilyPad represent only the harmful use of technology and remain a villain until the very end? Forky. Forky was truly very important in Toy Story 4, having been created by Bonnie out of recycled trash and becoming her favorite toy. And we know that he will appear in the new movie since he showed up in the teaser, but nothing that has been said about the film so far involves the character. Will he lose all the importance he had in Toy Story 4, even though he's still Bonnie's favorite toy? He's the one who should be the most jealous of Lilypad because his owner is going to forget about him and spend all her time with a tablet. Forky would naturally be just as upset about this as Woody was in the first movie, after being pushed aside because of Buzz Lightyear, but we haven't seen anything like that yet. So what will actually happen to the character in Toy Story 5? If you liked this video, there are 2 more ready on the screen. Just click and keep watching with us. Thanks, and see you soon.